Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Shop Thursday. Also, Wake Up Wednesday. Yeah, we're blending them together today because I was gone yesterday for the day. Didn't have time to do it. So here we go. We're going to take a look at, with our cup of coffee in hand, right? The 6th chapter of Romans, the first 11 verses. Yeah, remember, we're romping through Romans, so to speak, from now right until sometime in September, and get a good look at what Paul has to say and his theological outlook on what this Christian life is all about, who Jesus is, who we are. Yeah, that's what theology is, our relationship with one another and with God, how that all works out. So what we have going in Romans, in this earlier part especially, Paul's really laying it on pretty thick for the people. Remember, he's not yelling at them, he's not screaming at them or anything like that, because he doesn't even know them. He's never been to this church in Rome. He's just ramping up to come there and hopefully set this up as a mission post to the people further to the west. All right? So, in Romans 6, it starts out like this. What are we to say? Should we continue in sin in order that grace may abound? By no means. How can we who died to sin go on living in it? Do you not know that all of us who have been baptized into Christ were baptized into his death? Therefore we've been buried with him by baptism into death, so that, just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, we too might walk in newness of life. For if we have been united with him in a death like his, we will certainly be united with him in a resurrection like his. Those are words that I speak at practically every funeral that I participate in. Why? Because I think they're so full of energy. Not only thinking about the person who's died and they're now life with God in glory, but also our life right here on earth. Now, here's the thing about the Apostle Paul. Sometimes you get kind of lost with what he's saying and how he's saying it, because he uses a technique that's very common in the Roman world called a diatribe, and that can be kind of confusing to us. And now he's in this reading, he's moving into a whole nother kind of literary device in which he's jumping into the mind of someone else who's thinking, well, if that's so, then just maybe. And that so is what comes from our reading just before this, where Paul is talking about being made right with God, being justified with God, and it's all God's doing. It's his love, it's his grace. So you might be thinking, well, if that's the case, maybe sin's a good thing. We keep on sinning, God keeps on forgiving, right? You know what I like to do right now? I like to read this as we have it found in the Message. Just listen to that same reading I just did, only this is the translation or the paraphrase, the Message. So what do? Keep on sinning so God can keep on forgiving? I should hope not. If we've left the country where sin is sovereign, how can we still live in our old house there? Or didn't you realize we packed up and left there for good? That is what happened in baptism. When we went under the water, we left the old country of sin behind. When we came up out of the water, we entered into the new country of grace, a new life in a new land. And that's what baptism into the life of Jesus means. When we're lowered into the water, it's like the burial of Jesus. When we're raised up out of the water, it's like the resurrection of Jesus. Each of us is raised into a light-filled world by our Father so that we can see where we're going in our new grace-sovereign country. So, what the Apostle Paul is trying to tell us is, you leave all that gunk behind. You don't continue to live the way you lived before. No, you open your eyes. You wake up to a new reality. And that reality is God has forgiven me, and now God has put me in a new place. He's put me right into the midst of his kingdom. And that's the way I need to live. I need to live like who I'm called that I am now, a child of God. You're a child of God. Live like it. You can do it. God says you can do it. So, just go out and do it. So in a way, you can say the Apostle Paul is kind of interjecting a little bit of wake-up reality into his letter here to the Romans. But think of it in these terms, that you and I, we are put in a wonderful position as children of God. So grab it. Hold on to it. It's life-changing. It's life-saving. God's blessings be with you.